Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sal Post. How you all doing? I hope you're doing well, and welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. What's going on? What you been up to? Tell me what you've been up to. You doing anything interesting? Anything exciting? Let me know. I've got a big show today. Obviously, I'm waiting for my guest to arrive, and we will be talking everything to do with Manchester United in regards to transfers, the whole shebang. The whole shebang. We'll be working out what is going on at Manchester United in regards to transfers, in regards to everything that is going on at the moment. So yeah, I'm just waiting for him to come along, and we will be proceeding to talk about who is the next through the door at Manchester United and who could be leaving as well. More importantly, who could be leaving the club as well. This is also very, very important in regards to Manchester United and our future aspirations in bringing new talent in bringing new players in. We need to get rid of some players as well, of course, which is a very, very touchy subject, of course, in regards to sentimental value in regards to some of our players. Some of our players have a lot of sentiments in regards to our fan base, and we have to be careful, of course, how we look at these players and how we treat these players in regards to moving these players on. Now, I've got a very special guest today. You may have seen him on TalkSport. He's doing big things at the moment. I want to speak to him. I've been trying to get him on the show for a while now, but please show your respect and let me just get this done, and your accolades to Anil. Sorry, mate, I'll get you on. Let me just get you on, layout. Excuse me. I can't see him at the moment. Just trying to get him on. I'll get him on in a minute. Having a bit of technical difficulties with this one, but at the end of the day, let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going on here. We'll get it sorted. Definitely, we'll get it sorted. In regards to, here we go. Chat. Here, pal. You're ready? Yeah, I'm ready as well. Just trying to get this thing ready for you, and we will get the up and running. Guests, invite guests. Yep, copy. It's not coming on too for some reason. It's not coming on. There we go. I think we got it. I think we got the technical thing sorted out. My goodness me. Sorry, I've been traveling everywhere. I've been trying to get my stuff sorted out. I'm sorry, mate. But we're here with Anil Kandola. He's doing massive things in regards to TalkSport. You've seen him everywhere at the moment. He's the man of the hour, the man of the week. What's going on, my man?
I'm all good. Thank you so much for having me. I want to apologise firstly. We agreed 2:00 and I joined the call at 2:01. So that is that's very poor from me to start off. But I'm hoping anyway the things that we talk about will make up for my slow start, mate. How are you anyway? Everything okay?
I'm all good, fella. I'm all good. Thanks a lot. I've been traveling a lot. I've been basically all around Europe at the moment. So I'm in Dubai at the moment. So I just thought I'd get everything sorted. Obviously, it's a bit of technical difficulties in regards to myself as well, trying to get the thing working and stuff. But it's great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about Manchester United, of course. Transfers. Obviously, we've been hearing a lot of noise about it's going to be a big week for Man United. This week is a pivotal week for Man United. We're going to get a here we go this week. What are you hearing at the moment in regards to Man United and what's going on?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think after the really quick start, shall we say, Man United had under the new Ineos ownership in terms of bringing a couple of players in. Of course, they've already got 2 players in through the door in Xerxes and I forgot his name completely.
Yoro.
Yeah, there we go. What a start this is, by the way. Yeah, of course. Just under 100 million spent already, mate. So I think obviously, Man United fans were really excited in terms of the start, but then I did think to myself a little bit that last season the same thing happened with Onana and Mason Mount respectively coming through the door really early, and then after that it was a bit of a difficult window to sort of view as a Manchester United fan or someone who follows them in the media, because it did seem to go a little bit stale. There was a lot of links, there was a lot of reports suggesting Man United may sign another player or another few players, but it didn't happen. So I think cautious optimism is what I'd suggest to Manchester United fans at the moment. I think the two new signings that have come through the door in Xerxes and Yoro, they're really exciting players, particularly Lenny Yoro. You know, Real Madrid were very, very close to getting him. I'm under the understanding that he was actually invited to the Champions League final as a Real Madrid guest because they were highly anticipating him to come through the door, which, as I say, would suggest that he was nailed on to be a Real Madrid player. But I said it on TalkSport a couple of weeks ago that, dare I say it, Man United moved like a big club when it came to Yoro. They saw a price. They saw someone who's got big potential with a lot of attention, especially from Real Madrid, and thought, okay, well, if you're going to hesitate, a little bit like Man United did with Gakpo and Darwin Núñez, then we'll pay it, just like Liverpool did. They got the players they wanted to the door, and Man United did the same with Yoro. So I understand there is excitement. I understand that there is a bit of optimism. But in terms of moving forward, in terms of what we may see in the next week or so, I think what we will start to see is heavily dependent on the outgoings. Manchester United fans will have known already, even before they signed anyone this season, that sales are going to be a very big and important factor in their summer, not just because of FFP, not just because they need to balance the books, shall we say, but also because of the high wage bracket that the players are on. And I think this is a very difficult thing for Man United players and the staff to sort of go through in terms of moving on, because of their high wages. It will be very difficult. But as I say, I think it's very important, especially in the next coming weeks, that Man United do make some sales to open the door for potential new signings to come in. And Wan-Bissaka is the one at the moment that's being linked heavily with a move away from Old Trafford. I think this is going in the right direction. He's always wanted a return to London, shall we say, and West Ham have offered him that. The wages are something that are admirable in terms of Wan-Bissaka. He wasn't very keen on dropping at all, really, in terms of his price that he gets a week, which is understandable, of course. I think any job, you get used to a certain pay packet. You don't want to drop unless there's other things in there, like maybe a free car or something like that. But you know, it doesn't quite work like that for the players at that level. So I think Wan-Bissaka will go. I think Missouri, that's the player I think that you're sort of alluding to in terms of a here we go. Personal terms are all agreed as far as I'm aware, but you know, it's a 5-year deal potentially being discussed. I think there's a lot of hesitancy, isn't there, in terms of course, Wan-Bissaka has provided some brilliant performances for United against some of the top wingers in Europe, and he's played quite well, but I think the consistency hasn't been there, and always going forward has been his big letdown, hasn't it? It's traveling with the ball going in the opposite direction, and I think Missouri offers this and then some. He's a very experienced player. He's played at the highest level. He's also got links with Erik ten Hag, of course, in his days previously in his career. So I think this will be something that happens very quickly, and I think almost like a domino effect. Once Wan-Bissaka goes, the money will be generated to allow Manchester United to go. I think the reason why they haven't done the signing before the sale is because they are quite hesitant that if they do make the signing, they'll be in a position that they have to raise money, which they've been in that position many a time, and they've without with a lack of a phrase, they've had their pants pulled down. You know, the teams know that they need to make some money, and if they were to sign a player, then Wan-Bissaka and West Ham would be in a position to up the price potentially. So I think it will be a very, very familiar sort of pattern as we go through the weeks, and not just with the right back position, centre half as well. It's my understanding that Harry Maguire will not be going anywhere for Manchester United, which will obviously cause a bit of discussion, shall we say. But I think when Lindelof goes, they'll of course need another centre-back. So maybe De Ligt and other players will be in that frame. So yeah, I think Manchester United at the moment will be firmly in the position where they need to sell before they buy.
And this is exactly what Sir Jim Ratcliffe was pointing on in regards to he didn't directly say it, but the way we've been run over the years, we're just throwing money at players. Obviously, Anthony, players like that, we're just tripling their wages to get them to the club, which is the wrong way to obviously run a football club. We were just lack of negotiating prowess in regards to getting players through the door, because they want to play for the club, and that's the main thing I want at United. I want players who want to play for the club, not just want to sit on a wage packet. Yeah. Obviously, Maguire, I mean, I don't know how much he's on, 100 grand a week, 150 grand a week. It's impossible to get rid of these players, and these players, I mean, I wouldn't say that they lack ambition, but as you said, who would want to leave United? You're on that much money. You know, why would you want to go to a Fulham, for example? No disrespect to them, but why would you want to go to a Fulham? Why would you want to half your wage? Your social media presence as well. You know, you've got so much at Man United in regards to that. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course. I mean, I got a lot of respect for Aaron Wan-Bissaka last season. He came in, played left back, played right back. He's done a job for us, and he's. I mean, I'm going to be sad to let him go, but obviously we have to move on. Some people are saying it's a sideward step. I'm not too sure it's a sideward step in Mazraoui. I think he's more of an attacking fullback in regards to creation and output in regards to that. West Ham and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it's like a match made in heaven, in my opinion. It's low block. He can play low block very well, and he will do very well at West Ham. I wish him all the best. What about Ugarte? Of course, there's lots of noise about Ugarte. There's noise about loan deals, swap deals. We can't afford the money. We've agreed personal terms. He's put in a transfer request. And any news about Ugarte as well in regards?
Yeah, of course. Manuel Ugarte has been linked with Manchester United now for quite some time. I think probably the most important factor in all of this has nothing to do with Ugarte. It has nothing to do with Manchester United. It's to do with João Neves. This is an individual that's been massively on PSG's radar. They've looked at him as an individual, not just to be the midfield dynamite, but also the potential one day to be their best player, their number one fit. And that was the one amongst a striker as well with PSG. That was the individual they really wanted. And now, obviously, that leaves Ugarte in an interesting position. I just think one thing that is quite important to say about Ugarte, of course, it's a strange one because I wouldn't necessarily say that he's been unbelievable at PSG, but by no means by the imagination has he been any form of a flop or anything like that. So Man United fans who have got a bit of hesitancy in terms of why would PSG, a big club, be letting a midfielder go, don't worry about that. That's not because that they see him as someone who isn't good enough. They see him as a good player. They like him. They appreciate him. But they see João Neves as the next superstar midfielder across Europe. And a lot of clubs, including Manchester United, admire João Neves. But I think PSG, now that they're making some significant leeway and some progress with João Neves, they have been more open to Ugarte moving potentially on a loan. Now, individually, if we had this chat maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I would have said to you at this stage, there's been no discussion of a loan deal whatsoever. I haven't been told whatsoever that there was a loan deal, even a possibility, because of course in the background, PSG want João Neves. They saw that money potentially as a real big sort of treasure chest, if you like, in terms of going towards João Neves. But now that they've made significant progress, they are open because they have realised they can bring him in without having to sell other players. And they are more open to a potential deal that would work in terms of Ugarte moving on a loan with an obligation to buy. I don't think there'll be a situation where there will be a straight loan with no obligation to buy. I think there'll almost certainly be some form of clause within that contract to suggest that Ugarte's move will become permanent. So I think now is a very good time. I think Man United fans should almost thank João Neves a little bit because him moving to PSG has allowed them to be a little bit more fluid in terms of their negotiation, has allowed them to be more open in regards to letting Ugarte go on a loan deal. And I think this would suit Manchester United. I think if they can get him in through the door on a loan deal, then that potentially could even open the door for Sofiane Amrabat to stay as well. Now, of course, I know a few Man United fans listening to this might go, well, why the hell do you want Amrabat? He's done this, he's done that. But for me, and I'll stand by it, I always stick by my opinions. I think he's a very good player. I think there is a player in there that can certainly, without any shadow of a doubt, provide something from a squad basis. So I think if Man United can move for Ugarte on a loan deal, then that would potentially open the door to some other movement going on as well. So I think it is a very good position for Manchester United to be in now. It's almost like a weight off their shoulders, the fact that João Neves has made significant movement in regards to his move to PSG. So I think Man United will almost certainly get a midfielder through the door. And from a personal perspective, you know, mate, that I'm a Man United fan myself. I think Ugarte in midfield would be brilliant.
I think he will be as well. And I think people read too much into how he's done at previous clubs. Life is multi-layered. You know, at the end of the day, you got to find the right place for you. I mean, it just hasn't worked out. And you have to ask the question, what has worked out at PSG? You know, and hardly anyone who works out at PSG. But he would fit us like a glove. At the end of the day, that enforcer in midfield that we've been missing for so long, you know, that Roy Keane sort of type player. And of course, it will have this relationship with Licha Martinez as well, and that South American sort of mentality, I call it. You know, the heart on the sleeve type of mentality. It would be amazing signing if we can get him through the door. In regards to Amrabat, I mean, I feel sorry for Amrabat because he was playing at left back. He was injured when he came to us as well, and he never really settled. But you saw his capabilities in the FA Cup final against Man City. I thought he done really well in the FA Cup final, pocketing that midfield. You know, so. In regards to Jadon Sancho and PSG, is there any truth in regards to him potentially going to PSG?
Yeah, Sancho is a very fascinating one, isn't it? Because I think a lot of Manchester United fans, including myself, saw that he was back in training for Manchester United, saw that it was all smiles, shall we say. Eric Ten Hag said, look, it's all behind us, we've moved on and all of this kind of stuff. So you almost thought that, okay, well, if Sancho can start playing his way back into the team, he started a few games in the pre-season, he's got a lot of minutes, a lot of experience in terms of the new project of this season. But I was speaking to Ben Jacobs, who's a very reliable sports journalist. I've done work with him for MUFC MPB and also with TalkSport. He's right across a lot of stuff, and he is really good. And he did suggest that despite, and this was very fresh off the news that Sancho was going to stay and all of this stuff, and it's all well and good now, it's all rosy in the garden. He did say, don't be surprised if he is still linked with a move away from Manchester United, because I think even the relationship, shall we say, with Eric Ten Hag and Jadon Sancho was difficult, to say the least. We all know that it was quite public, you know, of course, with Sancho's pinned tweet after Eric Ten Hag essentially said that he wasn't training well enough to even be a part of the squad, never mind the starting 11. It was out there in the open, you know, the old saying of airing your dirty laundry out is never a good thing because it almost always blows up in your face, doesn't it? So I think after that, it was obviously very understandable why he wasn't in. But if you actually look at Sancho's career at Manchester United, even when it was in inverted commas working under Eric Ten Hag, and even before when he first joined Manchester United, yeah, there may have been a couple of bright moments. I think he scored against Liverpool. I think that was Eric Ten Hag's first win for Man United. It was his third game at the club. I think he lost the first two against, I think one was against Brighton, and then Brentford, they got battered away there as well. And then, of course, Sancho scored in the following game, if I'm not mistaken. So there have been moments where you thought, okay, right, well, this is a good player. And I'm not doubting that he is a good player, but I just don't see it working. I think I was very hesitant at the time, not because he isn't a brilliant player, but because Man United needed a right winger. He loves playing on the left-hand side. All of his amazing play, all of his amazing times at Dortmund, dominantly were from the left-hand side, which then begs the question a little bit, okay, with Rashford at the time in that position firmly, where is he going to fit? He's been tried out on the right wing. He's had a few good moments, but I don't think it's worked out, which I think leads the question again, as you've said there, PSG are interested. He does have a lot of admirers across Europe, but again, as we started to show, it's a very relevant and poignant point here that his wages, the structure of the deal, the price tag that Manchester United are looking for. And I don't think it's unreasonable to say that Man United would expect or demand even 40 million for him. That's nowhere near the amount they paid for him. But at the end of the day, he's a young Englishman who has experience at an international level as well as across Europe. So it's another very difficult position to be in. But I think it would take a substantial offer to get this through the door. Not because Manchester United's expectations are too high, but I think with the overall package, with his wages once again, I think this will be a very difficult one to move. A loan deal, I don't think that will work for Man United. They're desperate to make some funds to obviously allow them to move more in the transfer window in terms of bringing some players in. But I just don't see really how this one works out, to be honest. So yeah, I think Sancho, a brilliant player with a lot of admirers, but I think what would be most beneficial for him in terms of moving on is to have a good season at Man United to attract more admirers. But at this stage, I just don't really see him moving on from Man United this summer.
Yeah, this is the issue is obviously his wages are astronomical as well. It's not just the transfer fee. I mean, teams have to be willing to pay that amount of money for him a week, and obviously requesting a transfer fee for him as well it's going to be a huge deal. I was a big fan of Sancho before he came to Man United. I really wanted him at United. I really wanted him at the club. For a couple of years. I thought he's really good. He's going to solve our right midfield berth. But he ends up wanting to play on the left, then that's the problem with it. And then I mean, if he has a good season at United, that's fantastic. And obviously we can get more suitors for him. But I just feel like the relationship with Ten Hag, I mean, once you've done something like that, I mean, and you left it for a couple of weeks on Twitter as well, it's really hard to get it back. You know, the relationship, it's really hard to have that trust back. And I'm a bit worried about that relationship right there. I'm a little bit worried. But if he starts the season with the ground running and hits the ground running, that'd be fantastic if he can do that. And obviously, by the end of next season, we might get more suitors for him in regards to that. I just wanted to talk briefly about the defence. Obviously, we've been linked with De Ligt, and we need a left-sided player, left-sided centre-back, left-back, left wing-back, whatever you want to call it. We need a defender in there. Who do you envision coming to United in regards to that defence at the moment? Of course, we're light there at the moment. If Euro injury is serious, I mean, we're in trouble, of course. We just signed and we can't catch a break at the moment. It's ridiculous, you know. And who do you feel would be ideal for United going forward in regards to that centre-back positions?
Yeah, Matthias de Ligt. For me, it's a very simple answer. I think this player enjoyed the best part of his career under Erik ten Hag. He's going into a stewardship potentially at United where he's not going to be too unfamiliar, shall we say, with the setup. Erik ten Hag's there. He'll have the total belief and confidence in the manager. You can almost guarantee there won't be any sort of issues there in regards to a relationship or building up his trust. Of course, he's Dutch. There's one or two Dutch players flying around now in the Manchester United squad, shall we say. So I think he's got some familiar faces there. And it's not just that. I think he's at a stage of his career now where he's obviously proven he can play at the highest level. He was a matter of seconds away from potentially getting to a Champions League final a couple of times, actually. You know, it's not just with, of course, Ajax. He did very well last season with Bayern Munich. He is a very, very good player. And I think, again, very similar to Ugarte, people are thinking, well, if he's such a good player, why would a team like Bayern Munich let him go? But as we know, as we've been told numerous times with numerous examples, it doesn't work like that in football. Players want new journeys. Players want new aspirations. You know, you only have to look at someone like Erling Haaland. Before he even joined Manchester City, he said the reason why he idolizes Zlatan Ibrahimovic so much is because he moved on every couple of years. It's the fact that he moved from one club to another, won trophies there, moved again. And this is now the new era of players for football at the end of the day. It's a very rare thing that we find nowadays with one club player, if you like. Even someone like Wayne Rooney for Manchester United, he spent large parts of his career at Manchester United. He didn't play just for United. He played for Everton. He played over in the States as well. There's a lot of different sort of avenues that players can go down. And I think this is the same for De Ligt now. I think he's at a stage, as I say, in his career where I think he is getting a few critics, shall we say. People are starting to doubt him a little bit, thinking that he had his peak when he was a wonder kid, shall we say, and he's just sort of plateaued in terms of his career. But I think this would be perfect. And it's very likely, as you said just before, obviously I started rambling on about my desperation for De Ligt, is it only takes one injury for Manchester United to be back in square one. I said this when we signed Yoro. It's a situation where he's a brilliant player. His potential is through the roof and then some at Old Trafford. But the issue is, if an injury happens to Martinez and Yoro, very quickly that strength, that unity in the defensive partnership will diminish very quickly, because then you'll be in a situation again where Johnny Evans will be getting, if we're being honest, inappropriate game time. He shouldn't be in there because he's playing week in, week out, 70, 80 minutes every couple of games. It's just not viable and it's just not feasible in terms of a benefit for Manchester United. So I think De Ligt would be the perfect signing. But again, as I keep saying to you, my friend, it's very dependent on sales. It's not just about the money that's being raised by potential sales or wages. It's also squad availability. Manchester United will look at it and think, okay, right, well, we would like De Ligt instead of Lindelof, but there's just no way De Ligt will sign for Manchester United if Lindelof is still at the club, because there's just simply no room in terms of paying anyone new to come into that fold. So I think it's very clear. I don't think I'm bringing you any breaking news when I say De Ligt wants Manchester United. He has been sold in terms of that project, working under Erik ten Hag. He's desperate to come in and he's waiting patiently. But I have been told in the last couple of days that there are a couple of clubs that he is talking to. They weren't named in specific in regards to who them clubs may be. But I think this is understandable. He's a player who will be in demand. He will get a lot of game time in the top level of football. So it would be almost ridiculous of him to wait for Manchester United with the potential of him not being able to be signed for the club. So I think if the ball rolls in the right way, if the dice are rolled in Manchester United's favour, I think De Ligt will become a Manchester United player. But as with several players now that we're going to be discussing over the next couple of weeks, it heavily depends on sales.
Yeah, spot on. This is the problem we've been having for a number of years now, is the sales more so than the transfers in. In regards to De Ligt, I mean, I'm a big fan of De Ligt. Obviously, he's only 24. He played for Holland. He's played for Bayern Munich, Juventus. Of course, it didn't quite work out. It hasn't quite worked out how we would want. But as we all know, as Man United fans, there was a guy called Eric Cantona. It didn't work out for him where he was, and he came in and became a legend. You never know in life, you never know where a player finds his fit. just because he played for Juventus and Bayern Munich hasn't worked out doesn't mean it's not going to work out for Man United. But we hope that we do have to sell one of those centre backs, because obviously there's Maguire, there's Lindelof as well, there's Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans, I've got huge respect for the lad, but at the end of the day, he's 36 going on 37. It's just we need someone else in there, to play a key role for us, and he can rotate with Euro as well. Euro can we can help his development. Probably will help his development if he has a De Ligt there next to him, swapping positions, etc. Mazraoui as well is going to come through. Apparently, he could be going to United with Wan-Bissaka going to West Ham. He could play right centre back as well. I believe he can play right centre back, left centre back. In regards to about the left back, the left centre-sided centre back. Any news about any transfers that we could be going after?
Yeah, this one's a bit of a difficult one to discuss when it comes to Manchester United fans, because it's clear Man United do want another player in that position, but at the moment it's not really a massive priority for United, because they're looking at the central midfield. That is a big issue, and of course now defence as well, of course, with if and it's a big if at the moment because it hasn't been confirmed yet, but if Lindelof will be obviously heading out of Old Trafford, then there will be a position there that they need to fill. Now, whether that will be with a De Ligt or anyone, that they need to address that situation. So I think they see that role, they see that as the main priority, the central spine, if you like, of the squad and of the starting 11 in particular as well. I think if Man United do get the ball rolling, like I say, with sales, and they get the particular players that they want in the spine of the team, then they can start worrying about different positions. I think with left back, Man United would be desperate to find a left back. It's almost as if Man United didn't have a left back last season. Of course, Luke Shaw was injured for large parts, well, virtually all of last season, if we're being honest. And Milicia was literally unavailable for the whole of the season. So it was very desperate for Man United fans to want someone through the door. But I think one thing I was thinking about on the way, obviously, to this call, I was thinking about in terms of the left back and all that situation. I think one little thing to maybe potentially think about here is Diego Dalot. Now, of course, Man United fans will see him and want him to be the right back. I believe he was Man United's player of the season in some regard, or some trophy of last season. He was brilliant. He was one of the only consistent players for Manchester United. But if we do take it back to some times where he was playing left back, he was cutting in, he was scoring some amazing goals. And I know that's not a fullback's job, but now with the way the game's going, with this so-called Pep Guardiola ball, with the inverted fullbacks almost playing as central midfielders and really having a game not just out wide and in the defensive areas, but popping up in all sorts of areas of the pitch. Don't be surprised if Manchester United will play Dalot at left back, if, of course, they find themselves in a situation with Luke Shaw and Milicia both unavailable again. With their injury record, with their track record, it wouldn't come as a massive surprise if we do have a few games where they're not available, and it will be a situation where they're trying to sort of shoehorn someone in that position. But I think Dalot can play that position. He can play it quite well, but I think Manchester United, ideally, if they have Luke Shaw available, if they have Milicia available, and Dalot, if they really need to in that position, I don't think left backs is a huge priority. I think it will be almost a likely case if Manchester United do potentially sign. If I was to take an educated guess, I think they probably will sign another 2 players. But then if the ball rolls, as I say, if they get some sales through the door and they have a bit of money to play with, then a left back will probably be in the 3rd position in terms of a priority for Manchester United. So I think at this stage, as I say, spine, priority, and then after some sales, then they can start looking at other places.
Perfect. Anil, that is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me today. You made some good, very interesting points there. Thank you everyone who's joined me today as well. All the guys in the comments. I'm going to read your comments out in a little while, but I just want to thank Anil for joining me. I know you have to shoot off, so thank you very much for this show, and hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks obviously to everyone who's watched and commented. Please be sure to like, subscribe on this channel. It's obviously doing some very, very good work. So keep it up, my friend. And hopefully next time we do talk, it will be when Man United have signed Mbappe or something like that. But
exactly.
we can hope.
Yeah, we can dream. We can dream. Nice one, fella. Cheers. Thank you. All the best. That was Anil Kandola, of course, joining me today. Fantastic guest to have on the show. Obviously, doing big films with Man United TV and obviously Talk Sport as well. So he's absolutely great to have him on the show. A very good guy. A guy who's a proper Man United fan. He's got the knowledge. He knows what he's talking about. Let me just read through some of these comments. Big up, Mark. Sorry I didn't get back to you, but big up, Mark. Big up. yourself. Great to have you back here, mate. Respect. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Danny B. Big up, Danny B, of course. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, should I say. We're Aaron Wan-Bissaka, West Ham. Here we go is coming. We hope so very soon. As Kandola touched and as Anil touched on, of course, we're waiting upon that deal to be completed. Then we can get the Mazraoui deal done. Zubimendi, nothing at the moment. Of course, we're waiting on the Ugarte deal, and obviously we're waiting for deals to go out. Once the Ugarte deal is sorted, we'll have more clarification in regards to Zubimendi. 190 slab on 190k. Yeah, Maguire's going to be hard to get rid of. Maguire's on 190k a week. It's madness, isn't it? The way we've run this football club to the ground the last 20 years. It's mad the way the Glazers have treated us, to be honest with you. Let me go on. Yeah, a fan. Big up, Stephanie. Thank you very much for joining me again. Yeah, big up Anil and big up everyone who's joined. Get rid 30 min. Yeah. Disrupting. No more disruptive influence is needed. Agreed. 100%. We need no more leaks. We need no more tweets. We need none of that business, do we? We need to move on from that. The little things, that's what I say, the little things, the kiddie things that we've been involved in over the last years. It's been madness, isn't it, really? Hello, Danny. Yeah, 700. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're growing. Palacios Hato for me. Chicken with a price of sale. Chicken with the price of sale. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but you got me fancying chicken. So I don't know what we were talking about, but checking on prices. Is that checking on prices? But yeah, Palacios and Hato, big players, very good prospects, of course, as well. So yeah, thank you very much. Big up, Stephanie. Yeah, losing Kambuala was huge. Losing Kambuala was huge, of course, but he's ambitious and he wanted to move. And he didn't just want to sit down on a wage, which I respect him for. I really do respect him for that. And you cannot have any bones about him wanting to leave. We removed the wanted players. Surely makes it easier to replace otherwise Deadwood. The problem, Stephanie, of course, is the wages and who's going to pay those wages for those players. Will they pay the wage? Will those clubs pay the wages? Can a Fulham, for example, afford 100k for a McTominay? Can they? It's going to be difficult, and this is the biggest problem we have, which is why Jim Ratcliffe was touching on. Basically, it's going to take time. And I think it will. Dalot's biggest abilities are his availability and flexibility. Yeah, I mean, he made a good point. And there, very good point in regards to Mazraoui. If he comes through the door, we could play him at right back. We could play Dalot as a left back. That would be absolutely brilliant, of course. Moving on, of course, for the future and having a much more stronger squad, especially defensively, which we lacked last season severely. Thanks, Anil. Yeah, no problem. Derek, when we sell Mac, we get Ugarte, and Eric goes, we get about, of course, Leeds, we go for Fana. Yeah, Derek, thank you for joining me. Thank you very much. Big up, everyone. Less than a fortnight. Yeah, oh, Alex, yeah, what's going on? Sorry, I missed your comment there. Less than a fortnight until the Community Shield. Yeah, things are moving fast. As I said, we need to get those transfers through the door. We need to get some of those players out. Things are moving fast. Things are moving very, very quickly. Things are. Let's say, Zubimendi not leaving Spain. We have to wait and see. You never know. Life is funny. You can get surprises. You can get shocks. You can get players who do leave, but in regards to Man United, we're not hearing anything solid at the moment. We would like some news on Zubimendi. We hope, because a number 6 and number 8 will be brilliant in that Man United field to rotate with Mainu and have that luxury of options. Do you know what I'm saying? So, Alex, I feel like keeping some players would be more costly than selling them a bit cheaper than we'd like to. I feel like, yeah, I do agree with that. I think that if we sell them for cheap prices, obviously it's going to be better for us in regards to long term. We're in the habit at the moment of waiting for players' contracts to run out. Waiting for their contracts to run out, which is, it's not good practice, not good business practice, and we have wasted a lot of money over the past. Big up, Kenny. How you doing? I hope you're well. Thanks for joining me again. Big respect, and don't forget to subscribe to Kenny Fan TV. Stephanie, thank you very much. Thank you. We're growing. We need to get to 3,000 subscribers. We're on the way to 3,000 subscribers, guys. We need to get that. I'm 100 or so away, I think. 100 or so away from 3,000 subscribers. So please, could you guys just keep subscribing, keep passing the message, keep liking, keep commenting. etc. We're growing, we're getting the community going, Looking good with the Italian football jersey. Yeah, I got to wear the Italian, got to represent Italy, of course, with the Italian football jersey. Got to represent. Do you know what I mean? Not doing too well at the moment, but I just come back from Italy, so you know you can forgive me. You can forgive me a little bit. Been traveling 4,000 hours. 24 hours ago, I was in Istanbul. It's a bit mad, isn't it? So, yeah, big up, Sanjay. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up everyone. You guys are absolutely immense. Thank you for joining me on this show. Big up Anil Kandola. Absolute brilliant. Got big things coming, Anil. And I really appreciate him coming on the show. We'll have a lot more guests coming up, of course. A lot more guests coming up within the next year as well. So we'll be having a lot more collaborations, a lot more. Obviously, when this show gets more structured, we will obviously be bringing in more guests, and we have more than one guest, and we have you on as well. You on video calls and phone-ins, etc. You know, so it's going to be brilliant next, and it already is growing, and I feel very grateful to you guys for joining me. Big up, Kenny fan. Yeah, big up all you guys. Absolutely brilliant. What did you make of Anil's comments then in regards to transfers, in regards to players coming in? We touched on most players there. We touched on Ugarte, of course. We touched on De Ligt, of course. Mazzaroni, of course, we spoke about quite intensively as well. And the Glazers, of course. We are all Man United fans, and obviously we know what's going on at this football club and the way this football club has been run to the ground over the years, and obviously it hasn't been great. But we sense some reprieve. Something is happening at this club. Something is going on, and we feel it now. We feel it. 6-7 likes. Thank you, Stephanie. You're the light. You're the one who just gives me the updates, and you're full of good news. Always full of good news. Philip, hello. How you doing, my friend? Late missing the show. Don't worry. Watch it back, retweet it, etc. It does. It's live. It doesn't matter if it's live. It doesn't matter if you come in late. I really appreciate you, Philip, for coming. Better late than never, as they say. Better late than never, isn't it? So, but I really appreciate you coming. I finally didn't have faith in the youth as left back options. Yeah, I mean, I would have faith in obviously Harry Hamas. I'm a big fan of, and I've been mentioning his name as we have for the last year or so, Mark. You know, I've been mentioning him. I've been singing his praises. I think he's a very good player, and I think we need to trust him. I think we need to try and trust some of these players and believe in some of these players, because that's what's important at the end of the day, is believing in the youth. Manchester United are notoriously famous for our youth system, and I believe that if we bring Harry Hamas through, if you bring Fletcher through, if you bring Cher Lacey through, all these players are going to have a bright future, Manchester United. And as Alex Ferguson said, if you do not give youth a chance, they stagnate and they drift away, and they don't improve, do they? Big up, everyone. We have a structure and ambition in the hierarchy. Things will get better. Close to 24 incoming. 21 incoming, of course, is Manchester United's Premier League title aim, which is 21. We have 20 at the moment, 20 times. That's our aim. Let's get up to 2,900 followers. Let's get up to 9. I win that 900. I need that 900 because we need 100 squared number to get to 3,000. Of course, we take it day by day. We take it subscriber after subscriber, of course. So, guys, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. So many of you are joining me today. It was brilliant. Yeah, definitely needs a pathway. It does. You need a pathway. You need that. It's like a bit like momentum, isn't it? It's like a snowball effect. If you give a young player a chance, he will rarely let you down. Another quote from Sir Alex Ferguson. If you give a young player a chance, he rarely lets you down. So yeah, definitely. Big up, Philip. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to smash a like. It was a big show today. Obviously, Anil Kandola, journalist who came on and gave his say on Manchester United. All things Manchester United, all things transfers, of course, and that's what we want at the club. Guys, absolutely brilliant show. Brilliant show. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to smash a like. I shall be back tomorrow morning if nothing breaks during the next few hours, because, of course, things can break pretty soon at Man United and things can change, can't they? They really can change. And sorry about the slight technical difficulties at the moment. I'm obviously traveling, so obviously it gets a bit a slapdash sometimes, but we got there in the end, and we brought you a brilliant show, and thank you so much for everyone who's been involved in this. Hopefully we will get our Here We Go. We will get our Here We Go. I have a feeling we're going to get a Here We Go pretty soon, and it's going to blow up, obviously, all over the internet. I want Ugarte through that door because he's a very, very important signing for us in regards to our structure and our defensive line, of course. Safe travels. Yeah, thank you, Steph. Thank you very much. It's always coming to an end, my travels. I'll be going back in a couple of days, a few more days, and then I'll be going back to my base. It's all about that base. It's all about that base, as we say. But yeah, I will be back soon. So, guys, big respect. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow morning for Breaking Dawn, if nothing happens, of course. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to smash a like. You guys are the best. Peace.